right, here we are with one-step equations again, but today we're going to be looking at decimals. Please write your same 3 steps that we've been writing. Number 1, draw the line. Number 2, circle the variable. And number 3, use inverse operations. Do the opposite. All right, but today, again, the only difference today from what we've been doing is that today there's decimals. So we're still going to follow these same steps. We're going to draw the line, circle the variable, and I see over here at this side it's adding a negative 4.32. To get rid of a negative 4.32, I am going to add 4.32. Now you might be saying, but wait, Mrs. Silva, they're already adding. Well, not really. Remember, when we add the negative, we're actually subtracting. And so we want to work with the sign that's directly in front of the number when they're adding and subtracting. And so we're going to add 4.32 to both sides. Now, I'm not going to use the side work as much with a lot of these because some of these we can just line up right here. I know 4.32 minus 4.32 cancels out to 0. That's a 0 pair. And all I'm going to have left is W, so I'm going to bring that down. And I see I have one of these is negative, the other one is positive. I have more negatives. And to find how many more, I'm going to subtract. So I'm going to add a 0 here. And I need to borrow in this case. So this is a 0 and that's a 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. And here I need to borrow again, make that an 8, make that a 10. 10 minus 3 is 7, bring down the decimal, and 8 minus 4 is 4. And so that tells me I get negative 4.78 as my answer. But remember, we always have to check. So over here, I'm going to replace the W with my answer. And so I'm going to write negative 4.78 plus negative 4.32, and it should come out equal to negative 9.1. Okay, so here I see a negative plus more negatives, and so that tells me I'm going to add. Now here's where I'll use that side workspace, 4.78 plus 4.32. Let's see what we get. 8 plus 2 is 10, carry the 1. This is 10 and 11, carry the 1, bring down the decimal. And 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. So that tells me this would be negative 9.10 or negative 9.1. The other side says negative 9.1, so we know we're correct. Check. All right, on to the next one. Draw the line, circle the variable. Right now they're adding to it a 7.34. So to get rid of the 7.34, I need to subtract. And whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. 54. Did I say 34? I meant 54. There we go. So I know that these will cancel out to 0, and all I would have left is the y. Bring down the equal sign. Now I see both of these are negative, and so that means I'm going to add them together. So I'm going to put that decimal in and a 0, 0. So I'm going to get, let's see right here, 4 and 5, bring down the decimal. This is 13, and that's 2. But I see that everything was negative here, and so my answer would be negative 23.54. There's my answer. Now I check. So that means I should be able to take 7.54, add negative 23.54, and get negative 16. That's what that means. So that's what we're doing when we're solving equations. Here I've got more negatives than I have positives, so that means I'm going to have to subtract, and my answer is going to be negative. So when I subtract, that's where I'm going to use that side workspace, 23.54 minus 7.54. So I wrote the 23 first because I had more of this one. So I'm going to write that one up top. 4 minus 4 is 0. 5 minus 5 is 0. Bring down the decimal. Here I need to borrow. 13 take away 7 is 6, and then bring down the 1. So I would have negative 16.00, which I can write as negative 16, and that does come out to negative 16. So I know my answer is correct. This one only has a couple more examples, so let's try this one. Draw the line, circle the variable. Now here, I see it's next to each other. Remember, that means they're multiplying. The opposite of multiplying is divide. So I have to divide this side by 2.4, and whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other, 2.4. Okay, so I know that 2.4 over 2.4 will cancel out to 1. So at least on the right-hand side, I know I'm going to have m left all by itself, which is what we want. Now on the left-hand side is where I have some work to do. Remember, we can't divide by a negative, so swoosh. And whatever I swoosh on the bottom, I swoosh up top. And I do see a negative divided by a positive, so I know my answer is going to be negative, whatever it is. This is where I need the side work, though. And so inside the house, I'm going to write 38.4 because I swooshed that over. On the outside, I'm going to write 24. How many 24s can I take out of 38? Well, 1. That would have 24 I could take out, so I'd have 14 left over. Before I bring down the next digit, I'm going to bring up the decimal. Now I can bring down the 4. How many 24s can I take out of 144? So let's think about that. 24 times, let's try 6. 6 times 4 is 24, carry the 2, that would be 12, and 2 more is 14. Hey, lucky guess. So this is going to be a 6. That gives me exactly 144. I have nothing left. And so over here I would have negative, good thing I remembered to put that negative there. Here I would have negative 1.6. Sorry you couldn't see my work while I was doing that. There's the work I was just talking about. All right, so I'm saying m should be equal to negative 1.6. That means in my check, I should have negative 3.84 equal to 2.4 times, and instead of m, I'm going to write negative 1.6. I'm going to bring down that negative 3.84 equals, and here's where I'll use that side workspace again. I'm going to work out 2.4 times 1.6. And let's think, this is 24, that's 12, and 2 more is 14. Placeholder, that would be 4, that would be 2. Add them up. We get 4, and 8, and 3, and 1, 2 swooshes, so 1, 2 swooshes. So I get positive times negative is a negative 3.84. That did come out equal, so we know we're right. All right, on to one of the last examples here. Let's draw the line. Circle the variable. Remember what this means. Divide by negative 2.4. The opposite of divide is multiply by negative 2.4. So I'm going to multiply by negative 2.4. Whatever we do to one side, we have to copy to the other side. Negative over negative is a positive. I know these will cancel out to a 1. This will equal C. And over here, I've got to do some multiplying. 2.4 times 0.9. 2.4 times 0.9. Let's see what we get. 4 times 9 is 36. 9 times 2 is 18, plus 3 is 21. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. And so I get 2.16. So here, negative times a negative is a positive 2.16. And so that should be our answer. But remember, we always have to check. So I'm going to copy this down. Negative 0.9 equals, instead of C, I'm going to write 2.16 over negative 2.4. I'm going to bring down the negative 0.9, bring down the equals, and this is the work that I've got to do now. I'm going to swoosh and swoosh because we can't divide by a decimal. So on the outside, I'll just have 24. On the inside, I'll have 21.6. I can't take any 24s out of 21, so I'm going to write 0. I'm going to bring up the decimal, and now I have to think of 216. Well, let's try 9. 24 times 9. Well, looks like I've already got that work done, and it's 216 if we didn't have those decimals. So I'm going to go ahead and write a 9. That gives me 216. We have nothing left, and so we do get 0.9, and a positive over a negative is a negative. Those do come out equal. So we know we're correct. Hey, we're on a good streak here. All right, now numbers 5 and 6. These are the weird ones. Okay, so remember, I think we've seen these before. 3 times something is 0. That's what this means. So I'm going to draw the line, circle the W. Remember, that's attached, and so I'm going to divide both sides here by 3. Bring down the W that we've got left, and 0 divided by 3 is going to be 0, because 3 times 0 gives me 0. So we can prove it because of this check. This check is really what's going to help you see this. And so the solution is 0 here. But what about number 6? Is it 0? Well, this means 0 times something equals 3, but I thought 0 times anything is 0. So what happens here? Let's draw the line, circle the W. This would mean we'd have to divide by 0. And I guess 0 over 0 would be 0, not 1. This is weird. So W equals, well, 3 divided by 0. We can't do this. And so this one is just called undefined. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense because if you think about it, 0 times anything cannot equal 3. There's nothing we can multiply 0 by to equal 3. And so if you see a 0 in the bottom, or if you're trying to divide by 0, that's not going to be correct. That's undefined. All right, so that's it for today. A little bit shorter today because it's decimal work. It's going to take you a little bit more time. So try your best with your exit ticket. As always, please let me know if you need help with any of this. If any part doesn't make sense, stop me, let me know, show it to me, write it down, and try your best. Have a great day. Yay, math.